Shalom. And Sheik represents the indigenous face of this land. Along with the Hebrew Israelites, you have the Hebrew Ishmaelites.
And what land, where are we right now?
We're in Israel. We're in the southern region, the Negev. But it's actually northeastern Africa. You know, this is not the Middle East. This is not Eurasia. You know, this is actually the northern corner of Africa. And we determine this by, you know, when you look into the biblical narrative, the Genesis, when it points out the boundaries of what's called the lands of Abraham, the lands of the promise. And it was given to the seed of Abraham, not just to the Israelites. It was given to the seed of Abraham. It was identified as from the Nile to the Euphrates. As in fact, it's the Tucson, the Kohane rivers of Egypt. And we all know Egypt is in Africa. So the Nile River of Egypt, Africa, all the way to Iraq and Iran. You know, where you have the Euphrates and the Tigris, or the Euphrates and the Hiddekel rivers. Those are actually the boundaries of the lands of Abraham. And so when you identify the biblical narrative, these lands were, like I just said, they were not just given to the Israelites, they were also given to the Ishmaelites. Abraham had two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. And not only is the land given to both sons, even the covenant of Abraham is to the seed of Abraham. And even though it was directly announced that Isaac would be the forerunner of the covenant, and that's when the question asks, what about Ishmael? So Ishmael is going to be blessed also, not less, but will be blessed right along with Isaac. And in fact, it says great princes will also come out of Ishmael. Now, these great princes today, the people who claim to be the legacy of those sons of Ishmael are the sheikhs of Saudi Arabia, the House of Saud, you know, the sheikhs of Dubai, the sheikhs of Iraq, Iran. But if you trace this history back authentically, you'll find that the people who have the direct connection to that covenant is sitting right next to me on my right. And again, this is part of the history that so many Eurocentric institutions didn't want the world to know. They didn't want the world to know that Israel is Africa. Why? Because of the, you know, unfortunately, the Western world is steeped, their power is steeped in Eurocentric supremacist ideology, you know, which is a whole other subject, but we know that that's not true. And so, if you connect this land, Israel, Egypt, and in fact, up until 1956, Egypt was identified as a European civilization. It was the work of Sheik Aieed, you know, who came forth with the archaeological and the historical data that proved that the indigenous people of Egypt was in Africa. Right. I want to show you something since I mentioned that. Well, before I go into there, I want to let Sheik Aieed say a few words and introduce himself in terms of you know, what he does. And this region. In fact, I mentioned on the way up that the Middle East African Diaspora Unity Council is a nonprofit organization, and we're also the facilitators of the Middle Eastern region. We use the term Middle Eastern region when we work with international organizations, because they just can't get Northeastern Africa. You know, that's a lesson in itself. But in terms of the African Union 6-region policy, you know, you may be familiar with that.
Yes,
we are the representatives or the facilitators for the Middle Eastern region. Sheik Aieed is one of the founders of that organization.
Good. That is good. That is very good.
Okay.
First of all, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me.
My home. This is, I say you my guest today, So you are welcome here in Segev Shalom, my house in the Negev, in Israel, where we call it Holy Land. So I'm a sheikh. Sheikh is mean like a chief or the leader of his community or his tribe. We still live like in the tribes, just a tribe. Tribe is mean like a community. You have to lead them. You have to be the head of those people, to guide them, to the right. You become a sheikh is not, it's not like your choice or it's going by vote. They're going by choice. The family sitting, who can lead these people? We choose you. If you have, it's not about age, it's not about, but all the time they give inside the family, just the family. Another family, they cannot take this. Like the kingdom, something like this. They choose you. First of all, you don't know why they chose you, but then you know why they chose you. You have to be patient, you have to be wise, you have to be got a lot of things. So this is what we share.
May I ask, how many people are in your village?
In this village, there's living 12,000.
So you're responsible for 12,000?
No, I'm responsible here to 2,000, and in Rahat, another city, I have also my another family. I'm originally from another city.
Okay.
It's called Rahat. So I come here to separate. But in Rahat, where originally I live, there's more than 3,000 people. 3,000 people. There is another black sheikh in the tribe. He's got maybe he get 10,000 more than me.
Okay.
So we dealing together, and this is I want to say, that, in this place, how we call it, Northeast Africa. So we originally here, and we back to the seed of Abraham. We know our ancestor from thousands of years. We know.
So you know your history, thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah, I know originally where I'm living. Where is my land? Maybe I take some of the friends before to my land and show him, where we living, like, north of Sinai Desert in the border over there. We know our ancestor thousand years. We know originally who we are, and this give you. It's not just me, We like a sheikh and a Bedouin. You see the Bedouin maybe in the way you see the Bedouin unrecognized village. We know each other. You just give me the name of your family, I can know who's belong to who. Even he's have different name of family. I will tell you those people before 1,000 years, one man. Yes, we know they separate like a tree. This is very important. Even the Prophet Muhammad say, if you keep this knowing, this knowledge, you will be in heaven because you know each other.
Yes.
Not like this. That's why you see in our region here, even in our unrecognized village, there is no police, there is nothing. Even in this town, there's just one car and two policemen. So we the police, I'm thinking, is the heritage, your lifestyle. This is keeping everybody, and we have everything. We have even, call it Bedouin court. I can judge people here. I can make a solution, everything.
She could actually sometimes say that some of the youth, some of the boys get in trouble. The authorities, the police, the Beersheba police, they would actually allow the sheikh to put the youth on some type of house arrest under his observation and jurisdiction. Instead of putting him in jail, they actually let him, care for the delinquent youth.
Okay.
It's not by like a prison to close you don't have to close. I just bring him here. I give him a space. You can move just here, and that's it. I can leave. So I can put them here for a while, and they get free. I can guarantee for him from the government. It's good to them. They live in for me, Sheikh. Thank you.
Sheikh, on the way up, we were talking about how there was a time when, historically, we go back to Abraham, the Ishmaelite culture and the Israelite culture were when we go back biblically, during the sons of Abraham, the cultures of the Ishmaelites and the Israelites were very, very similar. You could barely understand the difference. They were one people. There was no, remember at that time of Abraham, there was no Islamic religion.
Right.
There was the Ishmaelite culture.
Right.
It was the Abrahamic culture, so the sons of Abraham.
Let me get some clarification for people out here. Ishmael and Isaac both were black.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so was Abraham.
So was Abraham,
right?
Their father. I want to clarify that because there's this ignorance that Ishmael might have been a different color than Isaac.
Exactly. How could it be?
How could they be?
Exactly.
So I just want to clarify for the people who are listening.
Great.
Yes.
In fact, this is a very historical picture you're looking at right here. Yeah. The son of Ishmael, who today would represent the Arabs, and then the son of Isaac, who would represent the Jews. Right. But there's peace between us. We could settle the Middle East crisis, right, in one conversation. Right. If we go back to the original intent of our forefathers. Right. And like I was saying, the Abrahamic culture was one culture. There was no Jewish religion. There was no Israelite religion at that time. There was no Islamic religion. There was just the Abrahamic culture, which we call the sons of Abraham.
Let me ask this question to the Sheikh. You all recognize yourselves being the people in that Bible? Or you refer, just keep it as far as the Quran? I'm just asking.
Sure.
That in America, they want to whitewash everything. But you all know who this people are and where you come from when it speaks of the history of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Ishmael, in this content. These are black people. These are African people. This is you all's teaching for thousands and thousands of years.
If you go back to the history when Prophet Muhammad came, you look like this. Now they claim Muhammad was a blonde or something. I say no, because they tell his cousin, the fourth Khalifa, the fourth leader after Muhammad, Ali bin Abi Talib. If you go check him, even in the YouTube, you see he was very black. So Muhammad is not black. Okay, his stepmother, when his mother passed, his stepmother, they say it wasn't. They say I'm Muhammad grave. There was the 3 or 4 Israelite tribe. Bini Nadir, in Koraida, we know the story, the right here. This was Israel, and what's going there that, you know, Prophet Muhammad, even the talking about the Islam and the tourists today, they living together, one by one. Nobody talk. Why? I'm telling you why. Because both of them, they under the covenant, and the two sides, they believe in, we call it Abrahamic faith.
Mhm.
This Abrahamic faith, everybody knows the way. It's not about this. So even in our religion, you say Christianity and all those, and Israelite, there's your brother. Don't let them do what pray what he's like.
Exactly.
You live together because you have the same culture.
Right.
So you cannot, even not just far, you know, 1948, before this European came here. If you go to Jerusalem, you don't know who's a Jewish, who's an Israelite, you don't know. You don't know. Just when we go to pray something different, that's it. But the same language, the same culture, the same everything.
So you're saying that even before 1948, when Europeans came up in here, that Jerusalem had black people.
Yeah,
the black people.
Yeah, if you could have went to Jerusalem today.
All around. I understand you were sharing about the deportation.
Yeah.
That happened.
They deported into Jordan during the war, after the war. But let me show you something, Brother Kofi. This book here, Martin Gilbert, it's called In Ishmael's House. Right? And it talks about the relationship between the Jews and the Israelite people. And you see they refer to him as Ishmael, in Ishmael's house, not in the Arab's house or the Bedouin. They're referring to this culture as Ishmael, as we've been saying. And one of the things that this author points out, Rofe, is that the only reason why Muhammad is not in the Bible is because they intentionally did not, didn't want him there, because they didn't want those two cultures to amalgamate. But Ishmael was a prophet. He was a son of Abraham, but he was a prophet, just like Isaac, Jeremiah. Same energy, same idea.